So we are living through an interesting time here where there are plenty of jobs available being posted out there, but there aren't enough workers for those jobs. Now this is due to a few reasons, and there are a few drivers for this. And you can blame things from the Fed, you can blame things from the stimulus checks, you can blame a lot of different factors that's contributing to this, but I think that sooner rather than later, we will see this trend reverse. We will see these jobs get filled. And that got me thinking on a possible opportunity for a company that could possibly capitalize on this. So in comes ZipRecruiter, ticker symbol ZIP, which is a recent direct listed stock that acts as a mediator to connect job seekers with employers looking to fill positions. ZipRecruiter is rated as the #1 job search app, has had over 110 million people use it, has nearly 3 million businesses using it, and is rated the #1 hiring site in the US. So you guys know, if you follow my channel, how much I like investing in #1 companies in their respective industry if I believe it's a growing industry. And I believe here that ZipRecruiter is a perfect candidate for that. So full disclosure guys, I do own some Zip stock. So I'm gonna explain to you kind of my thought process for picking this as an investment, why I believe this company is probably very undervalued right now and overlooked by the market. But first I thought, let's talk about the business, look at its overview of what makes it so unique, and then we'll get into some of the fundamental stuff. So if you appreciate the content here, as always guys, just hit the like button, that's all I ask for. So the first question that probably comes to mind here when talk about ZipRecruiter is, how is this service, this website, different from all the other offerings out there? This Glassdoor, Monster, even LinkedIn post stuff, even companies post directly on their website for jobs, right? What makes ZipRecruiter so unique and, a worthy investment really? Well, this right here is the big differentiating factor for the company. Zip uses AI to match the right candidates to the right jobs, and it's actually been shown to find better fits not only for the businesses but for job seekers as well. This means that you have people that are happy with the job that they finally get offered, and you have employers that are happy with the candidate that they finally hire. That, in my opinion, is big because that'll both encourage the employer to use ZipRecruiter for more candidates, and if that candidate that joins decides to switch jobs later on, they're probably going to go back to ZipRecruiter to look for another job. So in my opinion, this is a good thing. Keeping their customers happy is always important. Another unique part here about ZipRecruiter versus just a job posting website is that they actually invite candidates to apply to jobs that they feel that they're highly qualified for. So this not only gives the candidate a bit more, exposure to companies they may not have come across, but also increases the chances of getting the job because, like I said, looking at their profile, looking at everything that they have available to them using their AI, they're able to figure, hey, this candidate is a pretty good match for this and is a pretty strong candidate for this job. So really, in a nutshell, the way you can see it here is that ZipRecruiter is, as the name implies, a recruiter. It's not just a job posting website. It's not just a board where you can go look for jobs and apply. It's more interactive, it's more personalized, and I think that is what makes this company pretty interesting here. So that's kind of the business, guys, very high level. If you're interested in learning more about the company, check out their website. They have a ton of information on there. But now I think it's time to talk about the fundamentals on why this could be a good investment. So here's the thing, when you think of a company like this, serving a market that has millions of people that are looking for jobs every single year. And it's not something that's kind of like a one-time thing, right? Like right now, during everything that's happened in the last year, sure, there are exponential number of jobs available compared to the past. So it's a good time for ZipRecruiter. However, a few years from now, when things stabilize, there are still gonna be quite a few jobs available and quite a few people looking for jobs. So you need good services to match those two together. So I think a company like that is pretty valuable if they're good at what they do. So let's see what ZipRecruiter is valued at today. So as I'm recording this video, the stock is valued at around a $3 billion market cap, which is not, a huge business, but it's small enough to where there's good upside for a multi-bagger here. In their most recent earnings, they pulled in $183 million in revenue, which is a monstrous 109% growth year over year. They had strong gross margins of 88%, which is up from 87% the quarter prior, but they did report a net loss here. However, upon digging deeper, this was mainly due to them going public and some one-time expenses which should be behind the business now. They are generally a profitable company and their CEO is committed to being profitable, and he does predict that going forward pretty much every single quarter now they will post profits. So I wouldn't really take this one-off loss here in this last report as something too serious. The company just went public. There's a lot of stuff that happened behind the scenes. So I'll be interested to see how the next report comes out and what their guidance is after that fact. So speaking of guidance, they actually expect right now Q3 to come in with 77 to 83% year-over-year growth. And they also showed a move of strength here by raising their fiscal year 2021 guidance significantly from 39 to 44% previously to 56 to 59% year-over-year. And this is big. If you look at the stock, it hasn't really done a whole lot here in the last few weeks, despite this massive bump up in their guidance. So to me, it looks like right now investors, Wall Street, they are not giving this company the respect it deserves. Now, assuming they are able to actually pull in $660 million in revenue like they guided for, that would actually put this company at a very cheap price to sales of around a 4. In my opinion, for a company like this, which is pretty much software based, high gross margins, high growth, profitable, a price to sales of 4 seems a little too cheap in the market we're in today. As an investor, it actually instills confidence in me seeing that the gross margins remain in the mid to high 80% range, and this means that they are extremely efficient at what they do at ZipRecruiter. Now here guys is a quick table with my projections. Kind of what I've done here is post a very conservative 15% growth rate going forward for Zip, which still puts it at a forward price of sales of under a 4. Management did state that they expect the company to return to kind of 2019 type growth next year, which was around 18% or so. So I'm going even more conservative than that, and the numbers still look outstanding. So clearly, when we're looking at metrics like price of sales, gross margins, all these things that make a business a worthy investment, it tells me that ZipRecruiter is definitely a strong candidate. But before we can really move forward with this, we need to see their balance sheet to see if this is a company that's growing because they have massive debt and they're debt ridden, or if there's any other red flags in their balance sheet. Zip here has a very good balance sheet. They have lots of cash, lots of assets, easily able to cover all their liabilities with cash that they have on hand here, and this is what I love to see from businesses. So overall, the story does look very good, and analysts tend to agree. They see around a 36% upside right now at the stock with around a $34 price target and a strong buy rating here for ZipRecruiter. So now remember, while this is a play right now for me on a business that's taking advantage of the economy reopening and all these jobs and needing to get filled in the next few months or year or so, it still is a business that's gonna be required for decades to come. We can see just little things that the company does here that gives us a hint of how confident they are. When they raise their guidance by a significant amount, that tells me that they see trends moving in the right direction for them, and that tells me that this stock has the potential to run quite far if they're able to deliver on those results. Investors can only ignore these kind of companies for so long. Maybe there's some doubt on if they can actually hit those numbers that they guided for. But like I said, if they deliver, that doubt's kind of evaporated. People start believing management much more, and that leads to higher stock prices. So as of today, guys, like I said, I do own a position in ZipRecruiter stock. I have placed it in my speculative bucket like I have with the stock we talked about yesterday. And I've kind of, built a position that I'm kind of happy with. I don't really plan to add a lot more to this stock. It's a good business, but it's not something that's really going to change the world per se. So it's not going to get a whole lot of capital from me. But I threw in a chunk that I think is sizable for the opportunity at hand, and I think that I'll see a pretty good return on my money here over the next few years. You got to keep in mind that they went public fairly recently, so there's a lot of volatility that the stock sees. It sees swings of a few percent, on almost a daily basis. So if you're waiting to get in and the stock's up massive today, it'll probably be down in the next few days. You can probably get a discount on those shares. But I think that kind of movement's only going to last for so long until, once again, the company delivers on what they said they can and investors start respecting the stock here. So guys, that was kind of a high-level video here on ZipRecruiter stock. I hope you learned something. I hope you kind of understand where I'm coming from for this possible potential multi-bagger investment over the long term. Now, I want to know in the comment section down below, though, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, where the future of this business you think will be. Now, I don't really know if I'll be holding this stock for 5, 10, 15 years or so. If I realize a multi-bagger type return in the next few years, probably cash out of this, we'll see. But as of right now, I'm happy with my position. I'm up slightly in my position, and I'm just willing to hold and see how things play out. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.